From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. European postal services have suspended shipment of packages to the U.S. over tariffs. The end of an exemption on tariff duties for low-value packages coming into the United States is causing multiple international postal services to pause shipping as they await more clarity on the rule. The exemption, known as the de minimis exemption, allows packages worth less than $800 to come into the U.S. duty-free. A total of 1.36 billion packages were sent in 2024 under this exemption for goods worth $64.6 billion, according to data from the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Agency. That was set to expire on Friday. Now, on Saturday, postal services around Europe announced that they are suspending the shipment of many packages to the United States amid confusion over new import duties. Postal services in Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and Italy said they will stop shipping most merchandise to the U.S. effective immediately. France and Austria will also follow as of Monday. The United Kingdom's Royal Mail said it would halt shipments to the United States on Tuesday to allow time for those packages to arrive before duties kick in. Items originating in the United Kingdom worth over $100, including gifts to friends and family, will incur a 10% duty, it said. Key questions remain unresolved, particularly regarding how and by whom customs duties will be collected in the future, what additional data will be required, and how the data transmission to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection will be carried out. DHL, the largest shipping provider in Europe, said in a statement. The company said starting Saturday it will no longer be able to accept and transport parcels and postal items containing goods from business customers destined for the United States. A trade framework agreed on by the U.S. and the European Union last month set a 15% tariff on the vast majority of products shipped from the EU. Packages under $800 will now also be subject to the tariff. Well, Donald Trump ran on a promise of revenge, and he's making good on it. Donald Trump ran on a promise to use the powers of the government for revenge against those he believed wronged him. He now appears to be fulfilling that campaign promise while threatening to expand his powers well beyond Washington, D.C. On Friday, the FBI searched the home of John Bolton, the first-term National Security Advisor turned critic, who last week in an interview called the administration the retribution presidency. Trump's team has opened investigations of Democrat Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, who sued Donald Trump's company over alleged fraud for falsifying records, and Senator Adam Schiff, the Democrat from California, who as a congressman led Trump's first impeachment. The Republican administration has charged Representative LaMonica McIver, the Democrat from New Jersey, over her actions at an immigration protest in Newark, New Jersey, after arresting Mayor Ras Baraka, also a Democrat. Under investigation, too, is former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, a candidate for New York City mayor. Trump has directed prosecutors to investigate two other members of the first administration, Miles Taylor, who wrote a book warning of what he said were Trump's authoritarian tendencies, and Chris Krebs, who earned the president's wrath for assuring voters that the 2020 election, which Trump lost to Democrat Joe Biden, was secure. The actions look like the payback Trump said he would pursue after being hit with four separate sets of criminal charges during his 4 years out of office. Those included an indictment for his effort to overturn the 2020 election that was gutted by the U.S. Supreme Court, which said presidents have broad immunity from prosecution for official acts while in office. And finally, Trump sees himself as the chief law enforcement officer. Vice President J.D. Vance denied in a television interview that Bolton was being targeted because of his criticism of Trump. If there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute, Vance told NBC's Meet the Press on Friday. Trump said he told his staff not to inform the Bolton search ahead of time, but he stressed that he has authority over all prosecutions. I really thought that belonged to the Attorney General, which is supposed to be an independent branch, mostly separated from the executive. But I could be mistaken. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it, the president told reporters. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer. Yeah, that's not how that works. Bolton occupies a special place in the ranks of Trump critics. The longtime GOP foreign policy hawk wrote a book published in 2020 after Trump had fired him the year before. The first Trump administration sued to block the book's release and opened a grand jury investigation, both of which were halted by the Biden administration. Bolton landed on a list of 60 former officials drawn up by now FBI Director Kash Patel that he portrayed as a tally of the executive branch deep state. Ooh. Critics warned it was an enemies list. When Trump returned to office in January, his administration revoked the security detail that had been assigned to Bolton, who faced Iranian assassination threats. The FBI is now investigating Bolton for potentially mishandling classified information, like all the documents that went to Mar-a-Lago. Ooh, according to a person familiar with the matter who was not authorized to discuss the investigation publicly. As always, in contrast, Trump condemned the FBI search of his own Mar-a-Lago resort in 2022, where he had stashed hundreds and thousands worth of documents, all of them classified, in his bathroom and storage shed. That's the news at this hour. If you're watching our news videos on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.